Picture this. It's 2007, you're almost 13 years old, and you get home from school on a Friday with a sigh of relief. Congratulations! You just survived another day where you get picked on for having greasy hair. Isn't 7th grade awesome? Because cannabis is still illegal in your state at this time, and besides, you're 12 and have no desire to even see what a drug looks like because you're a good girl. So instead, you hop on your HP computer, still running Windows XP, I'm pretty sure, and you decide you want to play a game. As a little girl, you always liked dolls, but now that you're about to enter your teens and the internet was now a more accessible thing, why not try doing that on the wonderful World Wide Web instead? So yeah, I'm kind of talking about fashion dress-up games, which have been around since like the 90s, but I digress. Hello, and I'm from Pluto. Not Pluto TV, like the literal dwarf planet. My name is Jamie, and while I've always been a creative person and always been a fan of internet, digital horror, psychological horror, this fiction series in particular that I'm going to be talking about is one of my personal favorites. I want to talk about Lacey Games, created by Ghosttundra. So, here's the dealio. I have 3 things I want to say real quick before we get into the nitty-gritty. First of all, viewer discretion is heavily advised. All but the first episode in this series has a content warning screen at the beginning of each one, and I will show them as we go along. I'm giving this warning because this series gets deep and dark. There will be blood, there will be thematic elements representing certain causes of trauma, including abuse and harassment, stalking, body horror, references to animal death, and so on and so forth. So just keep that in mind. This series is meant for a mature audience, and again, viewer discretion is advised. Second of all, major spoilers ahead, because I will be going into depth as I take us through each video in order of release. So please, if you can stomach it, go watch the series for yourself first. I have a link to the playlist on Ghosttundra's channel in the description. Third of all, I am absolutely aware that I am not the first person to cover this series. What I'm trying to say here is most of the conclusions I reach here are initially from my own personal interpretations that came from watching the series myself. That being said, I did do research afterwards for this video on the Lacey Games subreddit and the fandom wiki. And even then, it was mostly for trying to decipher some blurry texts that were kind of hard for me to read. But besides that, I just saw a lot of discussion that honestly basically just confirmed what I was already thinking, and if anything, just expanded on it. Okay, so with that settled, I'm gonna go ahead and take us on a special sort of tour through the Lacey Games videos first, in order of release, covering the main story so far. I'm gonna talk about my own personal interpretations, and then we're gonna play that new demo that's been out on Steam and itch.io since being released on February 28th of this year. Now, while I am gonna be summarizing each episode, like I said, what I'm really gonna wanna focus on are specific parts that cut away from the main events that will be happening. These will be moments where the content will see express certain themes to us, notably in terrifying ways, and how they connect to the story at hand. So first, let me give you some background. Now, I first referenced dress-up games on the computer earlier, and ones that I actually played when I was 12 in 2007 was on stardoll.com, which I see still exists and looks kind of scary in its own right. Okay, you know what? This is going to be its own video. Stay tuned. Anyway, I referenced Stardoll because that is immediately what came to mind the first time I watched the first Lacey video, Lacey's Wardrobe. I first discovered the series over a year ago when there were still 3 episodes, so I was already subscribed to Ghosttundra when the 4th one came out. But yeah, I've been keeping up since. Like, this series has honestly left an impact on me emotionally and artistically, so I just gotta share my thoughts. This is a story of girlhood, trauma, tragedy, and mystery. These are the Lacey Games. Now, the first video, Lacey's Wardrobe Lost 2006 Flash Game, has pretty much the least bit of the deeper lore that I'll be going into here, so this is pretty much just going to be a summarization of the video, but will also allow us to establish the main atmosphere, per se, as we get into this series. It opens with a short and whimsical jingle. We see Lacey for the first time, appearing friendly, and there's text describing the game's premise. Lacey has a busy day ahead of her and needs help picking out an outfit for each occasion. First a park picnic, then a shopping trip, and finally a date in the evening. Right away, things appear a little off. The player puts together Lacey's outfit for the picnic and oh my god, it's No-Face. And he loves Lacey. Right. Next, it's time to get ready for the mall, and who could possibly be calling?
Lacey, did you see my stacks, Lacey? I can't wait to meet up, Lacey. I want to. Have a good time tonight with you, Lacey. Tonight. Bye-bye.
So, now as her stalker stares at her, and ultimately the player as they dress her, it becomes more and more clear that this person she's supposed to go on a date with is really her stalker.
Lacey, I'm here. I'm here. Did you get my gift, Lacey? Did you like it? I'm here. Open the door, my darling. Open the door. Open the fucking door!
Breaking the fourth wall, she begs the player not to let things go further.
Please don't make me go outside. Please. Please.
Ultimately, Lacey's led to a horrible fate, where she ends up being killed and cannibalized. Now, before we move on, there's a few things I want to point out to keep in mind as we proceed further into this story. Note first of all the premise of this video itself. Lacey needs help picking out clothes for her busy day, including getting ready for a date. This plan slowly starts to hang over our heads as we start to see and hear from Mr. Creepo. He increases his aggression, threatening Lacey to let him into her house. But instead of staying inside where it's safer, she's sent outside to meet a horrific and devastating fate. But why? Next up is disturbing secret found in 2007 Flash game, Lacey's Diner. In the description, we get a formal introduction to the story's player and uploader of these videos, Char887. After the content warning, Char887 tells us that they found something disturbing, and the loading screen pops up where we now see the name of the game developer, Yani Games. Left with the instructions, we're introduced to Lacey's Diner. Here, the player must, quote, add the correct items that Lacey requests into the main bowl, unquote. Then the meals must be served to the customers on time. Char887 quickly points out the 3-minute timer in the top right-hand corner, showing that, with it supposedly being a game intended for kids, you're actually given plenty of time to accomplish the task. So, what happens if you purposefully let time run out? Skipping ahead to the last 40 seconds, the player starts to comply with Lacey's requests. Things seem fine at first, but at 10 seconds left with just the ketchup bottle to go, the player made it in the last second. So now that the beef stroganoff has been made, the player is instructed to deliver the meals to the customers. With everyone served, the player is congratulated. So now, what happens when time actually runs out? Pausing here, we can see Lacey amongst a blurry collage featuring a kitchen seemingly in disarray and someone holding a knife. The kitchen in the background appears to be from a photograph dated June 29th, 2006. Looking at her arm, it appears Lacey has even self-harmed. She calls herself stupid and a failure, among other things. Having failed to serve customers, we're told they left, so Lacey has no choice but to shut down for the night.
This is all I have, and the customers are hungry and unforgiving. If I fail, I see no other option. Other than...
At the second day, time is left to run out again, and we're shown another intense image with the text failure written all over the screen. Other images flash on and off too, but I'd like to point out this one in particular. While it was still twitching, for memories are no substitute, part of the ingrained paranoia was owed directly to the fact they used to teach kids such perverse little bizarre lies that they passed off as the truth. And in case you haven't noticed it yet, there appears to be the image of someone only partially blended in with the sky, staring back at us with an intent gaze, watching us, watching them. With the customers having left again, Lacey is devastated, and her dialogue makes it seem like she's been pushed over the edge.
Why can't these fucking bastards just wait 3 minutes for their fucking food? I am trying my hardest, and yet I'm almost running out of money to survive. This isn't fair. It isn't fair at all. It isn't fair. I hate all of them. I hate them. I hate them. Tomorrow, I'm gonna give them something to eat, all right. They'll face what they did to me.
On the final day, the player is presented with ingredients much less appetizing, let alone straight up inedible. Cigarette butts, dead cockroaches, porn magazines, meth, used condoms, broken glass, and, So why are these being used as ingredients? Well, as each one is selected to be added to the mixing bowl, we can see different collages with text pop up on the screen. And here, I think, is where we truly start to learn some of the deeper lore about Lacey. You see, all of these ingredients here go together to describe a specific time in Lacey's life and its atmosphere. Let's look closely at each one, and then I'll tell you my thoughts. First, the cigarette butts. In the background, we see a picture being held up of what looks like a diseased and decayed lung. We see a cartoonish poster in front of it with some people on it, and it says, "Cool kids don't smoke." Behind the text, I want to say, looks like someone's legs in front of like a rug or something. Then, of course, the text says,
These moments were hard to forget because they were superglued from my heels to my thighs, and not even the strongest bird beak could peck it off. The smoke tinted me in gray forever, and it makes me tear up so much. I almost cried in front of him once. Never again.
With dead cockroaches, it looks like this could be in like a really grimy cement basement that's in decay or something. Then there's obviously a cockroach here.
First they dominated the ceiling of my room, but then I started seeing them everywhere. Bugs, and bites, and dirt, and ash, and vomit where they shouldn't have been. They were all cloudy, but crisp and very jumpy, and I wanted to suck it all inside me like a reverse frog dissection and end it all for once.
So far, we have two things that represent decay. First, the cigarette butts with a decayed lung, and a cockroach, which are kind of associated with, like dingy, gross places. Speaking of gross, pornography. This text here on the screen, it has some weird implications because she's mentioning an uncle. Also, I'm here, hi, because it kind of looks like actual adult content. Screenshots are behind me. They are censored and blurred and honestly warped looking, but I just don't want to risk it because this screen is going to be up for a significant amount of time, and I just, don't want to risk it. Okay, so we have what looks like a command prompt window open, and the main text says,
Face sucked in by the static. The grains tickled Uncle's eyes with pleasure. He was the same as me, but didn't want to admit it. He lived in a world of his own where he was desirable and sensual, and he got so used to his lies that he believed what the computer would whisper into his ear.
Now the him mentioned in Cigarette Butts has more to his identity, Lacey's uncle. And with everything here, it sounds like he's addicted to porn. Next up for being added into the bowl is meth, and here we see a picture of what looks like dirty medication packaging and a sticker that says Rocio on it. I really wish I could tell what was said on here on the medicine packaging so I could try to maybe figure out what it is exactly, but clearly overall this whole thing is about drugs. This is also the first of many times we will be taking note of the name Rocio. Okay, so before I read the text, I must give a specific trigger warning for rape and incest because the implications from the wording are just unfathomable.
And when he looked down and saw me on my little bruised knees smiling back at him, the exact size of his sweaty palm, even though they could be shaky, he was always the type to see the positive in things, and he couldn't keep the mayo from raining all over it like a mad fever dream. What a relief. Any thought of wrongness was dissipated long before it got into his mind, and screams were inaudible to his ears. It was just bliss.
Basically, Lacey's uncle is an abusive and disgusting piece of shit, and this collage confirms that he's a disgusting pig. Here's a little wink for foreshadowing. Broken glass. Okay, so first of all, this is obviously a bloody mess, and second of all, this is a little hard to read, but in the top here, I think it says,
Tip of your fingers. It first breaches your skin layers, getting underneath your nails slowly but steady into your blood vessels. It loves to feed on your fat, swirling around it as it rips through your muscles and touches the very core of your bones.
the last ingredient here is I'm assuming as an uncle. You see, Lacey this whole time is describing a point in her life where she was being abused in unspeakable ways by her uncle, who is implied to have been a drug and porn addict who lived rottenly, inside and out, explaining the significance of the cigarette butts and the cockroaches. Considering this horrid excuse of a man is an ingredient in this dish, I think it's safe to say he suffered some bloody consequences, per the text from Broken Glass. We also see a new face here, and there appear to be a couple black wires attached to them too. We'll come back to them in a minute. And so, this unspeakable dish somehow ends up being served to customers, and judging by the sound, which I'm keeping quiet because I hate it, they're slurping it up. Gross. But it also appears to take them out, so to speak, one by one. Lacey's diner is then shown to be closed down due to sanitary violations. And after a long evening of poisoning her customers, Lacey stands outside taking a much-needed smoke break. She looks empty, frail, beat up, and utterly tired as she looks down, perhaps at her cigarette, perhaps trying to process what happened, or perhaps trying to figure out what to do next, as text pops up on the screen that reads,
"This is it then."
During the sequence that shows us we've just witnessed the bad ending, two more secret images flash on the screen. In the first one, we see a distorted picture of someone with their face censored, sitting at a computer with what looks to me like wires everywhere. The second one demonstrates this with a close-up of this person's arm, showing us how the cords are connected directly through their skin. That's where we can call back to this shot. I think it's safe to say that this is supposed to be the same person, considering the dark hair and clothes. Tuning back into Char 887, we're left with the conclusion that simply, these games are not what they seem. They certainly aren't for children, and now we have more questions than we have answers. Oh, by the way, at the very end of the video, this shows up at the very last frame. It's one of the same mysterious pictures we just saw, but this time the text, "I'm in heaven," has been added. This could mean so many things, but to narrow it down a little, here are my guesses. Whoever this is dead. Or not. Sometimes when someone says, "I'm in heaven," it means they're experiencing euphoria. Either way, whoever this is somewhere else, and we have yet to find out exactly where. As Lacey's pet shop begins with another content warning, it's becoming clear that honestly, we have found ourselves through a tunnel system that will only continue to reach deeper underground. But before we're shown the game, we're introduced to Grace and a screenshot of the supposed Lacey Games website. The photo shows the two founders of Yani Games, with Grace on the left and Rocio Yani on the right, giving us a face to the name as seen in Lacey's diner. As Grace denies any involvement with the creation of the games themselves, we're shown screenshots of parents complaining about the horrific content showing up in what they otherwise assumed were games meant for children, as well as a child's fan drawing that appears to have been submitted to the website, only for it to be openly, brutally mocked, assumingly by Rocio, with the text reading, "Submitted by Jenny, age 9. Honestly, you should just give up. This is utter fucking trash. Did you really have the courage to send this over? You thought Lacey would like it? Well, she doesn't. In fact, she hates it. It's only displayed here so other kids can laugh at your terrible work. Never draw again." Grace, wanting to get to the bottom of whatever is causing these complaints, had played Lacey's pet shop herself, and we're segued to Char 887's gameplay. The premise tells us that in Lacey's pet shop, one of the most famous in town, she has animals ready to be customized to meet each customer's demands. The animals from Lacey's pet shop should always be perfect for their new owners. Now, with the first client, things are fine. This person just wants a puppy that's already been cleaned and groomed.
Harmless. But starting with the second customer, things already seem off as this person requests a purple cat with, quote, striking eyes and lots of personality, unquote. So the player, as instructed, literally dyes the cat purple, inserts red eye contact lenses, and gives it sunglasses. Now, when a kid's Flash game from 2007, this may seem merely quirky, if not a little too weird, as we even see that the third pet is just made to appear emo. Things start to get utterly unsettling, however, as the next person requests a so-called French hamster with a really long neck, and the one after that wants a turtle with teeth so it can smile at me. It's obvious now that the customers appear to want their pets to meet impossible standards, to fit the role each person views as a perfect thing that they can call their own, a thing that pleases them somehow, whether it's a visual aesthetic, a certain personality trait, or even have some kind of disadvantage that would make it easier for them to take control over. An example of that in particular is the next customer, who requests a bunny with no tail, limbs, or ears because they're quote-unquote distracting, but nevertheless would make them utterly helpless, unable to protect itself or run away from danger. The next animal that comes up is another dog, this time with a face that personally reminds me of a blobfish when they're brought to surface. Also, this happens. The text here is very blurry, but it says,
Nightmares come and nightmares go. I yearn for them again and again. Pull my hair and my nails off. Let's pretend I was never real. What happens through the night never did.
Now, while we do see Lacey here, though with inverted colors that kind of makes her look like a corpse, it's starting to feel more and more like these collages are meant to be read from the author's own personal perspective. The style and use of the language feels very personal, similar to some of the collage texts seen in Lacey's diner. But what's different is that here we see Lacey in a totally different way. Besides the blackened out eyes and mouth, what's most notable is that her hair is the opposite color of what it usually is, hot pink instead of the teal blue we're used to seeing. It kind of, in a way, makes me think of the pets that are being customized in the pet shop game. After all, Lacey herself has the ability to be customized, as we saw in Lacey's wardrobe. I think the Lacey we see here and the text are supposed to go together for a reason. Yearning for nightmares and to have hair and nails pulled off. This reads like someone who lives in misery because that's all they've ever known. For them, a life filled with nightmares is simply their reality. And with such a message being put here in this game, is it a cry for help? Or rather, are they putting this here simply to invite someone, anyone, to really hear their truth? And since this is a loading screen, are we about to see more of what's behind the curtain at LaceyGames.com? Well, things have indeed taken a turn as we now see a different kind of point-and-click game set up, with arrows pointing to either go left or enter the house. A cat skeleton stands above what looks like an overpass or bridge, and is blocking the way forward. It turns out the poor kitty had its skin stolen by a bird it was chasing. So the player goes left to find the cat's skin, caught in the beak of a crow, and brings it back to the skelecat. At the click of a mouse, it has skin again, which makes it happy, so it leaves, and now the house is accessible. The player enters a hallway and can go either left, right, or upstairs. First they try going upstairs, but the door is locked, so instead we're first brought to the left, where we see 4 pigs seated at a dinner table.
I've always known what you are. From the moment you first touched me to when I found myself stepping over remains of your skin glued to the floor. You had no regards. I had none either. You squealed like a pig, just like a pig. This had been my childhood dream, the one you took from me. I collected all those bruises for years. My spine hurt as if a needle went through each segment. Once I got used to it, I didn't think about it anymore. But you made me think about it forever when you made that mistake. You made a mistake. You took Angel away. You took my angel away. You took my angel away. You took my angel away.
Back in the hallway, we're shown the room on the right. We see an old couch, a grandfather clock, a painting on the wall, and a rusty cage.
It's going backwards. How pretty. I wonder who painted this.
It's Lacey, and she says,
I feel like crawling inside of it. Please click it. Yes, I know. No one forced me back inside. but this pain hurts so comfortably.
She spots a key, takes it, and goes upstairs. We see another hallway with 2 rooms on the left and a bathroom on the right. Note the quote on the bottom.
Uncle, have you seen Puddles anywhere? I can't find her. I checked everywhere. Everywhere. Stop laughing!
In the bathroom, Lacey says something strange about the bathtub and then decides to look at herself in the mirror. She looks tired, lost, and uncertain,
I'm Lacey.
she says. Does this person look familiar? Dark hair, clothing, and wires attached? Let's see what we can find out here. First, take note of the sound. Obviously there's some distortion and static, but there's also what sounds like someone's voice. It's pitch lowered, and it kind of sounds like it could perhaps be from agony. Nevertheless, it appears they have something to say, starting off with this paragraph of white text. It's very blurry and hard to read, but part of it appears to say,
And it sticks and it smells. Oh, I get it now. Someone melted here. Pulverized remains enter my pores, blood and shit and rests of an eye. I suck it all up. My legs swell and turn yellow.
red text flashes on the screen a couple times. But instead of trying to read it, let's hear from its actual author.
Do you like playing your computer? I make lots of games for you. In none of those slurries. These are the real girls' games. These are the real girls' games. These are the real girls' games.
That was Rocio Yani, or perhaps what became of her. Distorting back to Lacey, we're promptly shown to the next room.
But it never was real. It was just a bizarre story that somehow happened to my life. But it never was real. But I had this dream that was so real. I dreamed that it was me and another that we killed 2 years ago. And that's another story.
What you just heard is actually taken from a short film called Beneath the Skin by video artist Cecilia Condit. Ghosttundra is a fan of her work, having covered the song from Possibly in Michigan on their channel. It's a whole thing I'd like to make a separate video on someday, so I won't go into specifics here, but Cecilia Condit created that short film, basing it off her experience having briefly dated a serial killer before he was ever caught. Here in Lacey's pet shop, though, this piece of dialogue takes on a different meaning, considering it's recited from a dead body being hid under a bed. Moving on, the static cuts to a shot of a small window looking out from within a darkened room. We can hear what sounds like a computer running in the background. Then we get some text dialogue from Lacey.
I was thinking about getting a cat this time. Yes, a small, fluffy kitten. I really, really want a cat. We would do all sorts of stuff together, like getting ice cream. I could have some right now. I'm so hungry right now. It's been days. But I can't just leave. I can't. He's still under the bed. He'll look at me. I can't. But after all of this is over, maybe I could also go shopping. I could go to a record store and buy CDs of my favorite songs. I will have so much fun. It will be so fun. I will listen to them all day long. My sweet little doggy, my little angel. I couldn't take it anymore. You can hurt me all you'd like, but you weren't allowed to take it away from me. I will let you rot.
Well, now we know why Lacey, or perhaps even Rocio herself, really killed her uncle. Back in the hallway, Lacey, in referring to the next room, says,
I can click here to end it all.
That's interesting. I can click here to end it all. We see a room with candles and matches, and Lacey asks the player.
Should I light myself on fire and wake up?
She takes the match, says goodbye, and then one of my favorite parts of this series so far happens.
For years he was barking up the wrong tree. Worried about his sins becoming too visible on his skin. Yeah, I was worried about the serious things. But now, when his time was back, I was the dog that bit his neck.
Seeing a smiling Lacey say, whew, it was just a nightmare with my favorite smiling cartoon Sunstock image ever. It could almost give you whiplash, but oh, well, there he is. One of the reasons this series is one of my top favorites in the world of unfiction is its combined use of music, prose, and imagery packed into a sequence that occurs for less than 30 seconds. The music, also done by Ghosttundra, is this grungy melodic guitar piece, adding to the type of emotional atmosphere that comes alive, and yet is self-aware that it's dying at the same time. It's melancholy. Rocio is giving us her thoughts like it's a diary entry. Considering who else we've seen here isn't a 2D character drawn for a Flash game, I think it's safe to say that this is really Rocio's uncle. Being the creator and programmer of the Lacey Games, it's not far-fetched to think that Rocio being literally hooked up to a computer could mean that she is directly impacting Lacey's own lore as an independent character. Her life appears to bleed into her own virtual artwork, and while we mostly first see her as a 2D character in Lacey's diner, we are at least partially learning about Rocio's trauma through Lacey experiencing it. You'll see more of what I mean when we cover the next episode. Before we move on, we must touch on the pet theme here. Lacey, but perhaps really Rocio, had a dog when she was younger that ended up being killed by her uncle. That was the straw that broke the camel's back after years of enduring foul treatment from him and not receiving the unconditional love she deserved, especially considering she was a child. By the way, some people theorize that considering we see 4 customers in Lacey's diner and 4 pigs at the dinner table in Lacey's pet shop, it could be they're meant to represent Lacey's whole family. Her dog could have been the only being she felt true unconditional love from and the one positive thing in her life she could hold on to. So when that got taken from her, ripped away from her, it's no wonder she literally saw red and finally snapped. Play sick, evil games, win consequential prizes. The content warning is shown before my new favorite song plays. I was being sincere. This slaps. We also see 2 new faces, Maisie and Jay. And so, this absolute banger is rudely interrupted by a brief, distorted scream, before we're taken to a conversation with Grace and Charlie, known as Char887 up until this point. Grace says the scream came from Rocio and reveals that she was the one who voiced Lacey and sang. Apparently doing this actually gave her tremendous stress to the point of pulling at her hair and bursting into screams so loud she could be heard from the recording studio. Grace blames it on bad production, but is also dismissive of Rocio's behavior. As Charlie scrolls down the Lacey Games website, we get to learn a little about Maisie and Jay. Maisie is smart, loves astrology and astronomy, and enjoys reading and sharing her passions with her friends. Lacey loves adventures, and while, quote, she can be a bit of an airhead, unquote, she's popular among friends, loves fashion, and listening to music. Jay, who Charlie says was her favorite as a kid, is a tomboy who loves skateboarding and rock music. Grace tells Charlie Jay gives her the creeps because Rocio supposedly permanently killed her off in a very brutal way. Charlie opens Jay's skating game, a platformer controlled by arrow keys to hop from building to building and avoid any obstacles such as birds. It takes Charlie a few times before she can complete levels 1 and 2. Once she makes it to level 3, things accelerate quickly and literally as Jay picks up extra speed. And things end rather abruptly. At the final level, the sky is reddened in the background as Jay rides, with the sound and occasionally the screen cutting in and out. And then... having gone so fast she didn't see the pit of spikes coming, Jay ends up falling in, which kills her instantly. Back with Grace and Charlie, Grace explains that she didn't notice anything messed up in the game until parents started emailing in complaints. Rocio had proceeded to delete all of Jay's games and was removed from the main site, but apparently began to show up in others. But why? Before we find out, let's look at some of what's been hidden in just a few separate frames throughout this scene. During this sequence, we see a few screenshots that seem to be from an online forum where parents were discussing the games and were particularly complaining about Jay's character. From what I can make out, the posts appear to be from January 2009. Concern over Lacey's game's character. Hello parents! Today I want to bring attention to this website I found my girl visiting, Lacey's Girl Games. I thought it was innocent until I saw the mascots. There is one Jay who acts and dresses like a boy. She also throws the devil's sign constantly, which is totally inappropriate for girls. I am a very concerned mom. Because of that, my little Amber started telling me she wanted a skateboard. What's next? Wearing those ridiculous boy clothes? Hanging around boys who will hurt her? Wishing to become a boy? Be careful. I just saw it. That is not a girl. That is a... You have to enter an email to Yani Aso to delete this character. I posted about it on Facebook. Everyone agrees it's an inappropriate character for girls. Girls' website. We are getting all the parents to email around and hopefully knock some sense into the developers. My girls love this website. I hope they fix it so I can allow her to visit again. I definitely agree that a character that says I'd only be caught dead wearing makeup in one of her games is not a role model little girls should be having. I don't know why they don't just keep Lacey and the other one and get rid of this boy-girl thing. Let us know about updates on sending emails. Maybe also block it in schools until then. April 9th, 2009, by Yani XX.
Careful what you wish for.
Clearly, this was Rocio. Lacey's makeup parlor launches. This brings us back to a style of gameplay similar to Lacey's wardrobe, where instead of picking out clothes, the player is tasked with applying makeup to Lacey's clients. This time, they're still and quiet with their eyes closed, and it's up to the player to customize the makeup colors for each person in an effort to make them look prettier, according to the instructions. As we're used to, the game appears to start off normally. We recognize the pattern of things starting to go off kilter when a single distorted frame pops up here. Two pixelated faces, with their eyes covered or removed, and the text below says, "The power of makeup. Hide undesirables with illusion." Now things really seem amiss when half of this person's face sags and is merely fixed by the touch of a pixelated gloved hand. And the next person has some kind of worm or maggot crawling toward them, and the gloved hand returns to take it away. Then this frame pops up. It looks like a morgue, and the red text says, "Vanity doesn't die. You are not excused from vanity yet. You still can't be looking bad now. I can fix you." Next, this person has their rather uncanny, hyper-realistic looking eyes pop open. The gloved hand closes them. Finally, who else rolls in but Jay? During this sequence, we see what looks like a disturbingly mangled face, interspersed with a blurry, darkened image with a text a bit hard to read. It appears as though there's several different thoughts running into each other within the author's mind, and then they stop. We fade into Lacey, who is curled up halfway to a fetal position on the floor at a morgue.
No, 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 no. No, no. No. I'm not here. She's not here. This isn't happening. No. No, no, no. I look so ugly when I grieve, when I'm crying. No. No, no, no. No, no, no. She's just a client. She just needs her makeup. She just needs her makeup done. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. She just needs to get her makeup done. Yes, like me. I just need fixing. I just need makeup. Yes. 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 Yes.
What we're seeing is the revelation of a theater curtain being open in Lacey's mind. She's not actually running a makeup parlor for living people like she tries to pretend, as if this is a way to help her cope with the possibility her job is to actually clean up dead people at a morgue. At least that's how I interpret it. But when she is met face to face with her dear friend who is no longer alive, right in front of her, hey, sorry to intrude on this nightmarish sequence, but I really hate the sound of other people vomiting, and Lacey, or I guess Rocio, is about to do that from reality kinking in about being in front of Jay's corpse. Okay, so let's just go ahead and skip to the next clip. Lacey holds up Jay's lifeless body, already significantly in decay.
Silly Jay. Oh, silly, silly Jay. Please collaborate. You just need to stand still. So I can fix you. Maybe if you just use some makeup. Maybe if you were a little more feminine. You wouldn't have... This wouldn't... You just need some...
Lacey slowly applies makeup to Jay's mangled face, and well... In the last shot, this popped up for a frame. I'm not sure what all the blackened out text is, but here's most of what I think it says.
I wanted to cry so hard I'd vomit, but I smiled. I smiled because... What does it matter? I'm here for display. I'm supposed to be pretty. And you don't look pretty when you cry.
Afterward, Grace tells Charlie more about how she distanced herself from Rocio from being too creeped out by her. Rocio's pixelated face fades in before the screen turns to an even more distorted view of the feed, with Grace speaking to Charlie while... I honestly don't know what's happening, but I think the text is supposed to say...
I watch your face of porcelain rot away in my hands.
Meanwhile, as they discuss Rocio's disappearance since 2010, Grace is at first very reluctant to find out where she could be, even claiming she wouldn't care if she turned up dead. Charlie tries to convince Grace otherwise by asking if she's at least curious to know what happened to Rocio, considering the circumstances surrounding such a vanishing act. Notice how this whole time they are surrounded by eyes watching them, and really also us, the viewers. It's as if perhaps Rocio could already be aware that some folks have taken interest in the Lacey Games story. At least that's how I see it. The final scene we're given of this episode is a goodbye song, a sequence similar to the musical piece at the end of Lacey's Pet Shop. This time, it's clearly about Lacey losing Jay.
The day after you were gone, I wish for all beauty to die. I wish the sky were tinted red, just like what I felt inside. Millions of crying people howling for me, for rain to fall, rain heavy all day. For everyone to breathe from their mouths and their eyes. But today was just a normal, sunny day. So was the next, and the next, and the next.
That short monologue was emotional and full of anger, as though we were hearing a core example of Rocio's most sincere feelings spilling through Lacey. While she laments, she voices her frustration at how it seems that everyone else, perhaps in particular the parents who wanted Jay removed from the website, are able to just go about their lives happily. You could especially hear the emotion of Lacey losing her dear friend when you think about the possibility of Lacey becoming more of an extension of Rocio, who also created Jay and Maisie. You could say it's like Rocio is angry at having to get rid of a character she created, but it feels much more personal than that. I don't know how to explain it other than really reaching deep into speculative territory, since the series is technically still ongoing and we have yet to get some official answers to some questions. In the meantime, let's just focus on the main theme of this final scene: the 5 stages of grief. As we hear Lacey's powerful scream, several different warped images pop up, including Rocio tangled in cords, and here we can even see what looks like some kind of computer part. Jay's corpse is seen in a more cartoonish style here, and her eyes appear to be open and closed at the same time. The text at the top says, "Dead girls don't cry." Here, Morgue Lacey appears to be strangling Makeup Parlor Lacey, the fake one she originally tried to hide behind to ease the pain but very obviously did not work. It's poetic, really, considering the vengeful feeling of the song and the fact that Rocio seemingly feels as though her hand was forced by the conservative parents who complained about the character of a girl who did not conform to their standards. As the words representing the 5 stages of grief flash one at a time on the screen, we can also pause to see this image, giving more detail of Morgue Lacey attacking the other one. Though we only see the bottom half of her face, we can see that she's expressionless but smiling, as if she were a doll. I see it as a black swan kind of moment that goes in the direction of pointing out this example of a kind of femininity performed just for society's comfort and pleasure. This whole notion, I think, can explain why I think this is personal.
She stepped into the empty room at the edge of the universe and calmly walked toward the single button on the wall which, as she has been told by the gods above, could delete the existence of anyone she disliked. She thought long and hard of all the ugliest souls she had ever known. She made her decision and her finger met the button without any ceremony, but looking down at her feet, it was all red with blood. She stood in shock. The blood tainted her very being. She had thought deletion to be clean and instant without realizing that death is the only deletion that exists, and that there is no death without painful, unrelenting grief. And grief stares at her through mirrors forever from the eyes of all she had ever thought to delete. It was a world catastrophe.
No matter what you do, no matter how hard we try to prepare ourselves, we are never truly ready when we are left to grieve. As of now, that's where we're at with the Lacey Games video series. In a Q&A uploaded on their channel a couple years ago, before the 4th Lacey video was ever released, Ghosttundra stated that there were 5 total episodes planned out, but there is the possibility for more, if they change their mind. Nevertheless, this series isn't going anywhere, and it feels pretty likely we will be met with a conclusion to Lacey's story, and perhaps even Rocio's by extension at some point in the future. After all, we now have a real demo game we can play, and according to the listing I see on Steam, the full version is planned to be released this year. But before we directly see what it's like to play these haunted games ourselves, let's recap the story. LaceyGames.com was a website created by the founder of Yani Games, Grace Aesop, and Rocio Yani. Rocio is the creator of Lacey Games, and even voiced Lacey herself. The website was run from 2004 to 2010, and its mission was to provide these flash games for girls. Lacey has two friends who each have their own games, Maisie and Jay. But players were beginning to discover unsettling things happening throughout the games, such as Lacey being murdered and cannibalized by a stalker in Lacey's wardrobe, Lacey poisoning her customers, to say the least, in Lacey's diner, depictions of animal abuse in Lacey's pet shop, and so on and so forth. But that's not all. Occasionally in these games, this woman, later revealed to be Rocio, would pop up for a frame or so when things were glitching out. It's implied that Rocio suffered abuse at the hands of her uncle when she was a kid. She did not know what a happy, healthy childhood was like because that's not what she experienced. I'm not saying adding her traumatic lore to the games she meant for children to play was a good thing, no. So my next question then is, how aware is she that she's become something of her own monster? And if she is, how much does she care? Is she too far gone by now, or would she be willing to try and make some things right? The child who submitted fan art only to be cruelly put on blast by Rocio comes to mind. But based on what we've learned about her so far, she sounds like a very highly stressed individual whose demons are so big and cruel and haunting. It's because of them she has these outbursts sometimes. But something happened. Well, let's face it, there were probably multiple reasons and catalysts that caused Rocio to gradually infect her own games with horrendous imagery, some hidden more subtly than others. I personally can't imagine the severity of her behavior being a constant. I think there had to have been a gradual process at play here, even if it didn't take very long. Her mind was gradually corrupting itself somehow. I wonder if literally connecting herself to a computer in order to physically place herself in the Lacey games has anything to do with it. Seriously. This is already a very popular theory within the fandom. According to the Lacey Wikia, this is actually called the possession theory or personal hell theory. It's basically the one I agree with the most. I think Rocio was trying to use the Lacey games as literal escapism. When I try to imagine an example of her past haunting her, like maybe she had PTSD or suffered nightmares or worse, both, like that would sure explain why she would want that escape. But then things go wrong. Trying to live her life as the one the character she made up has doesn't work because there's no hiding from these memories if they've yet to be dealt with. On the other hand, she could also be genuinely trying to make a statement about girlhood and reality. On the surface, the Lacey games in the website is pink, girly, and all around fun. But underneath the surface is a cold, hard truth for many. Sometimes when girls are being quote-unquote girly, it's not because they wanted to be, but because it's what's been expected of them. And for some, it could be that they genuinely do like that stuff. But if they were to have also had outside influences that conditioned them to believe that that's how they're supposed to behave, then the foundation of liking those things didn't come organically. Maybe when Jay was added to the game, it was initially Rocio's way of introducing a new perspective, that being a girl doesn't mean you have to like all things traditionally associated with femininity. It was a very mid-2000s thing. Like, Jay honestly kind of gives me 2003 Avril Lavigne vibes, to give a more pop culture related comparison. Then when Rocio killed her off after receiving a lot of backlash from bigoted parents, she decided to turn it up to 11. Just to reiterate real quick, girls at their liberty can enjoy fashion, love cute animals, love makeup, and even skateboarding. In theory, I love all those things, except I unfortunately never got to learn how to skateboard. But anyway, those same girls could also be holding heavy, painful secrets in their hearts. And unfortunately, there are many girls, and not just girls of course, there are many people who have gone through something similar to anything Rocio has been through. After all, these are the real girls' games.
Well, I could go on and on rambling about my theories about Rocio and Lacey forever, honestly. It just fascinates me so much. Now, I was fortunate enough to have had a decently good childhood, thankfully. For some reason, I just love female characters who are absolutely batshit in a certain way, because I have been faced with my humanness a lot throughout my life. I relate heavily to blatantly imperfect female characters who are just ever determined to forge their own path and march to the beat of their own drum. But I also know what it's like to be faced with my humanness and realize that I wasn't as self-aware as I thought I was, when I was younger. I was kind of behind on developing socially and to an extent emotionally because, for one thing, I was bullied a lot in elementary and middle school. And second of all, I wasn't diagnosed with ADHD until I was almost 29 years old. I'm 30. So while I am on medication and go to therapy, there are still times where I'm just like, wow, I sure am a human fucking being, aren't I? Honestly though, the older I get, the more I chill out. Like, that's not to say I'm cured by any means, but I sure do finally feel like I can handle stuff a little better now. That's why I haven't personally tried to connect myself physically to a computer in order to transfer my soul to my own virtual world of my OC. I just started a YouTube channel instead. Hello, this is actually being filmed on a different day, and not only that, this isn't the first time I'll be filming this either. You see, this video project has also been a learning experience in how to use OBS. What happened was I recorded the whole thing of me playing the demo, and already in the first place, I struggled because there were just some things I didn't know you had to do right away. And so that made things a little awkward. What really made me decide to just re-record the gameplay entirely was that as soon as I brought the clip into Premiere to start editing, I discovered that there was no audio from the game. And I was like, better Google how to make that happen so I can try this again. And I did. I did the troubleshooting already, and now we are good to go. So yeah, you won't be getting my candid first-hand reactions because that's already happened, but you will get a much more coherent one. And plus I'll be able to much better able to like explain some stuff and add in my cat. Apparently my cat will be a part of this version of the gameplay. This is Abyss. She's very nosy. Everyone say hi to Abyss in her butt. Bye, Abyss. Okay, let's see what terrifying things we get to do here. There's Charlie. Hooked up now physically to a computer.
I'm gonna hurt. I know. I was just thinking. Oh shit. I forgot about a paper that was due tomorrow.
Huh? Well, girl, there's no turning back now. College. She was thinking about college. And here I thought she was dumbfounded by my...
So now I have even more questions. Okay, I almost forgot to hit record, so this is just going fantastically. Okay, so here's the main site. We missed a bunch of shit that Grace says, but a lot of people in the fandom don't like her anyway, so I think that's fine. Because she's hiding some stuff. I just find it really interesting that she knew directly how to hook Charlie up to the computer there. And so I just wonder, like, how much does she know, right? Is her knowledge of that, plus she calls herself a genius, like, did she make these devices in the first place? Was she the one that actually made these and not Rocio? Is that why Rocio decided she wanted to work with Grace in the first place? Very interesting. I didn't think that we would see an element of the Matrix in this, is what I'm trying to say. But it makes total sense, right? But yeah, so real quick, I just want to look at the fan space here before we play the first game. So we got this beautiful MS Paint drawing submitted by Maria, age 11. This actually looks like something that I would draw when I was 12, because I used MS Paint a lot back then too. Lacey thinks your drawing of her is super cute. Thanks for sending it over. Yay. Then we got this great piece right here. I love the outfits and the shading. Submitted by Cecilia, age 13. Wow, the girls are all seriously impressed by your drawing skills. They thank you for the time it took to draw them so pretty. And we got this great this great drawing of Jay, submitted by Corey, age 8. Jay has said she thinks your art is rad, and then she did a sick ollie. These are really nice compliments so far that these kids are being given. And, like, we move on. First of all, submitted by Alyssa, age 7. So Alyssa's really talented, and she's gonna be going places. Look at those eyes. A 7-year-old did those eyes! And those hands! What 7-year-old knows how to do hands so good? Like, what? Macy thanks you for your awesome art, and I hope everyone else did too, because Alyssa deserves it. Alright, now this one's, like, the best one, obviously. We got Lacey's Diner. She's looking very kawaii. The artwork was submitted by Kawaii Art 0202, age 16. Fantastic work! Lacey is thrilled to see how she would look if she were a character in an anime show. Seriously, though. Yeah. Alright, and then we have the classic. It was in the original video from, I think this was it Lacey's Pet Shop or Lacey's Rabbit Hole video that we saw this originally in? But yeah, and even the messages here too, so it looks like the pictures are in chronological order of submission, I'm guessing. It's just really interesting that this is here at the bottom. We're gonna go to the About Us later, because there's something in there relevant for proceeding throughout this game. So that being said, I think we're good to get started with Lacey's wardrobe. Lacey's wardrobe, everything's ready. Let's do this. Here we go. Lacey has a busy day today. In the morning, she will attend a picnic in the park. Then in the afternoon, she must go shopping. Finally, she will have a date tonight with the cutest guy. Phew! But there is only one problem. She has no idea what to wear. Can you help Lacey put together the cutest outfits for each situation? I sure hope I can. Alright, so this we can kind of just proceed with normally. I love this haircut in particular because it looks like Sailor Mercury. So we're gonna go with that for now because I think it's cute. Now, for a picnic at the park, personally, I think I'd want to wear a jacket. So we're gonna wear a jacket. And let's see, a picnic in the park. Let's wear these. And then we'll wear the boots. No. Yes. Yes. This right here. The collar is perfect for this. And we are ready to go to the picnic. And there it is. Mr. No Face himself, looking kind of more like a thumb. Got a bit of a thumb shape to him. I love you, Lacey. Alright. Time to get ready to go shopping! I think we'll do this one for shopping. Yeah, let's wear this. And, jeans? Yeah, let's do jeans. Oh my god, who could possibly be calling?
Lacey, did you see my text, Lacey? I can wait to meet up, Lacey. I want you. Have a good time tonight with you, Lacey.
He's breathing in my ear, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Oh, he's really breathing in my ear, y'all. Oh, I don't like this one bit. Let's put these sneakers on. We'll give her the bunny ears of protection. Actually, this bangle will probably be good as, like, a good defense weapon. You can, like, punch him with it. Anyway, let's get her to the mall. He's still breathing in my ear. I don't like it. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This gets me every time. The freaking knocking in the ear, the realistic knocking in the ear. The first time this happened, when I watched the video, I was like, who's knocking on the door? It was like 3 a.m. Like, ugh. Alright, let's keep her classic hairstyle on for this. Oh, great. A gift on the doorstep. And now he's calling us again. And we're still in our underwear. This is a nightmare. Poor Lacey.
I'm here. Did you get my gift, Lacey? Did you like it? I'm here. Open the door, my darling. Open the door. Open the fucking door.
Be patient, sir. Alright, let's just hurry and get her ready because I am desperate to no longer have to hear this. I'm so sorry, Lacey, but this is how we proceed, man. Back to cloak. Great sounds. Great sounds in the ear. The artwork is a lot more gruesome here than it was in the video, in my opinion. The world's ugliest man somehow successfully commits a murder. And he's looking kind of reptilian. Bro, you belong in like a conspiracy theory mythos.
Charming, isn't it? Some kids must still see the guy's face in the room.
Probably.
Some parent lawsuits are still going on to this day.
Okay, that's another thing. She also mentioned lawsuits, I think, in the beginning of Pet Shop or something. Like, is that legit? I'm curious about that. Is Rocio still being sued into the ground by bigoted parents? Well, okay. They probably can't all be bigoted parents. I mean, again, why would you want to market to little kids these games that have, like, these murderous things? But at the same time, it doesn't seem like anyone's doing anything about the Spider-Man Elsa shit either.
I guess only Lacey's pet shop showing up for now. So there's that explore. When we're ready.
I will, Grace.
Well, hopefully you have a good stomach on you.
Thank you, I do. Believe it or not, this is going a lot less chaotically than the first time I played this, so here we go. Alright, Lacey has one of the most famous pet shops in town. People come from all over to buy their perfect little furry companion, and it will be your job to help her today. Adopt, don't shop, y'all. Instructions. Listen to the client's animal demands, then use the items on the bottom row to customize them and get them all ready for their new loving homes. Remember, the animals from Lacey's pet shop should always be perfect for their new owners. Good luck! Alright, we got this cool mermaid lady who is not a mermaid, but looks like she could have been at one point in her life. Dude, do you have, like, a pet with a cool sea vibe? So, we have a dirty-ass fishbowl that we're scrubbing. Yay! I think this kid kind of looks like Chucky from Rugrats. I need a cute and quiet, steady partner. This takes place after the All Grown Up show, sequel to Rugrats show. Salutations! I search for a very special pet. A snake. We scrub. We blow dry. We put on bow. And there he is, the little cute guy. Okay, everyone in the fandom loves this girl. I think they named her Jessica, I think. There's even like a headcanon. She's friends with Lacey or something like that. I would like a clean, cute, playful pup, please. The clean, cute, playful pup. Snip, snip. Yeah. I'm looking for an elegant little companion. Mr. Lizard. Aww. A hat for the lizard. Next. Hello, dearie. I would love to have a pet as fluffy as my wool scarves. You got it, Granny. Here's a ferret. By the way, where's Lacey finding all these different types of animals that are for some reason dirty?
Well, that was pretty normal actually.
Yes, it was. Now, before we play again, I do want to look at something else, and that is the About Us page.
We also had this habit of hiding some real disturbing secret endings in this little game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess so the terror card should be my surprise? Ugh.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Right. Get that brain working. You should find a way to get it this but the bug.
So, let's quickly go through this About Me page. Entertaining girls since 2004. There it is. This is what we've seen in the videos already. Same descriptions, same photos. As video game lovers, we wanted to create a safe space for kids to play all of our games with the beloved Lacey and her friends. Meet the gang. There's Maisie. Stargirl Macy is smart and knows all about astrology and astronomy. She loves reading a good book and to teach her friends cool space facts as well as their horoscope. Lacey is a fun-loving girl who loves a good adventure. She can be a bit of an airhead sometimes, but she's very determined and has lots of friends. Very determined and had lots of friends. Interesting. She really likes fashion and to listen to all her favorite songs in her MP3 player. Jay. Skate Girl Jay is always down to go out with friends. She's cool and is always with some type of wheels. She also loves rock music and everyone calls her a tomboy. She likes that. Do you think she would be into, like, riding with Heelys? Anyway, now here we see what looks like Lacey after being run over by a semi-truck. Looks pretty bad, man. Looks pretty bad. Maybe it wasn't...
What? No, I don't know how.
Oh.
I forgot. It's been years since I looked at their site, you know?
I thought there'd be a thing here. Just click stuff, I guess. Look around. I already helped you enough, she says. I wonder if clicking on this will help. Because there is something that is... Oh, I got it! I guess you have to click on the pictures or this thing or something. But here we go. This is what we needed to have pop up. 20 times on the dog. Okay, so... We're gonna play Lacey's Pet Shop again. Alright, we'll just go ahead and get through these and you will see what I am talking about if you haven't already played this, which you should because it's free and you can just like download it from either Twitch, or not Twitch, yeah right. You can download it from either Steam or itch.io. For some reason, the downloading on Steam wouldn't work, like no matter how many times I clicked on the download button on the Steam page of the demo, nothing would happen. So I ended up just downloading off of itch.io instead. And that's another thing, like, apparently, you know, since this is a demo, they're still working out the bugs and all that have appeared here and there. Okay. No more fucking around, fellas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's the blobfish! So... we get the video version of the game now. As you may have noticed, I am a pop star. I've never noticed her say that. I've never noticed this before.
The best of the best, so don't make me wait. I want a purple cat with striking eyes and lots of personality. That's interesting. So, already, we have a much more demanding customers than the previous set of 6. They were just like normal people before. This poor cat, though. I hate this. I don't want to do this to this poor kitty, and yet I'm doing it right here because art. Yo, I want a budgie, but I don't like how colorful they are. Yuck. Can you fix that? Thanks. I think this person might actually be a vampire. Look at the red eyes. Just saying. But then again, they wouldn't be wearing a cross if they were a vampire. I suppose. I guess they're just emo. Give me one of those rare French hamsters with a long neck. A long, long neck. What do you need a long neck hamster for? French hamsters aren't even a thing, like, in terms of having a long neck. And look at this. This is Hamtaro. You're gonna make me do this to Hamtaro? See? Look at this. This is just... For shame, lady with the sunglasses. Ugh. Poor thing. This guy hasn't slept in 3 weeks. Turtle, but I want it to have teeth so it can smile at me. Poor turtle. That doesn't look like a smile to me. That looks like pain. These people just want to give things pain if it means perfection to them. A lot of bunny, but with none of those ears and tail and leg things are distracting. This man is the most vile of all. How Lacey is feeling right now is how I'm feeling. I can't believe we have to do this, Lacey. Isn't this such bullshit? Let's put it on the butt. Let's just pretend we're trimming a little bit of the fur and not the actual limbs. This poor thing. This poor damn thing. Like, what the hell? There he is, Mr. Blobfish himself. What happens now? Oh, and here we are. It's time to explore Lacey's house. But first, we gotta get past Mr. Skillcat. I've never noticed the sky view before. That's super dope. The color use and like the viney tree branches. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Ugh. The atmosphere, man. It's the atmosphere. Love a good atmosphere. Well, this isn't probably a good atmosphere, but it's very artistically well done one. Should I try speaking to it? To the scat. To the scat. To the scat. To the scat. To the cat skeleton. What's up, Mr. Cat Skeleton? Hiss! I won't let you pass. This is the most awful day ever. Hiss! Have you also had to deal with OBS for the first time? I was chasing a bird and the bird stole my skin. I have been hurt, so I will hurt others. Damn, this poor kitty. Poor kitty! Let's go find that thing some skin. Mr. Crow, I need that skin! I will take it. Got it. The Skelecat will be so happy. Here you go. Oh, I guess I have to click on him first. Here you go. Oh, wait. That's so kind of you. I'm cute again. Yes. Now, if only you had, fur. I mean, like, this looks like your organs. Are these your organs? Did you get your organs back with your skin? Also, that's not cat teeth. Those are human teeth. Are you sure that this is your skin? Oh, he got him mad at me. I can't. Okay, let's just go. Sorry for being so moody. Meow, bad. You made that. Stop.
Cats, man. First of all, another scenic view. Chain link fence. It's a city. Kind of reminds me of the brief little sliver of the outside world that you could see in that one scene in Lacey's pet shop. Well, we'll see it ourselves. We'll take a look. Okay. Enter the house. That's a window. This is the door. Here we are. We're inside. We got some pictures here. If you look closely, that kind of looks like a picture of Doggy, Puddles, and gosh, this could be Lacey, this could be Rocio, but their face is so obscured that it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah. So let's just go in order of how this was done in the video. So first, they tried to go upstairs. It's locked. So let's go back. And I think they went left first, so let's go to the left first. And there's the Piggos. The people that could possibly be Lacey's / Rocio's family enjoying their flour nacho dinner. Go right. So now we're in this living room. It's going backwards, the clock is. Very interesting that the clock is going backwards. Are we going backwards in time? Is that what this means? I mean, that would be very fitting, considering this is kind of representing the type of flashback, or perhaps is representing Rocio having this kind of flashback, or memory, just going through this memory picture. How pretty. I wonder who painted this. I would like to know what the painting is. I kind of can't tell what's happening. It looks a bit abstract, but it also kind of looks like a mannequin leg. Is this a mannequin leg that's been a bit busted up or something? Who knows? Who knows? But here's the cage. I feel like crawling inside of it. Please click it. You got it, Lacey. You poor girl. You deserve so much better. Yes, I know. No one forced me back inside. But this pain just hurts so comfortably. Girl, I want to give you a hug. Take this key. Alright. Well, that's spooky. Alright, let's go upstairs. By the way, that's like I'm pretty sure that's supposed to look like the face of a jumping spider? I could be wrong, but that's what these 4 black circles remind me of. Alright. This music rocks. I'm pretty sure Ghosttundra said that they do, like, most if not all of their own music. Ghosttundra seriously needs to, like, just have a music side project or something, because this slaps what awaits me in the room of bats. Alright. I didn't read this quote earlier. It's always filled with blood in horror games, but this is just lemonade. I've tasted it. It's like she's used to the sight of blood for whatever reason. Alright, well, let's go ahead and look in the mirror. My favorite shot, probably, in the entire series is Lacey looking at herself in the mirror like that. Looking so just like girl could use the hibernation period. And a therapist.
Do you like playing your computer? I made lots of games for you. These are the real girls.
Well, okay. Sorry, I wanted to know what would happen if I didn't click for her to leave right away, and it just brings you back into the hallway. That could have been a setup for something much spookier, but I could just be thinking of, like, a scenario you would see in, like, Silent Hill, or something. If you've played Silent Hill 3, and you've made it to the hospital, section, if you know, you know. I won't say any spoilers, and plus that's not what this video is about. Okay, room 1, Lacey's bedroom.
Oh.
But it never was real. It was just a bizarre story that somehow happened to my life. But it never was real. But I had a dream that was so real. I dreamed that it was me and another that killed 2 years ago.
This is also her bedroom, I think. I think Rocio might actually be, or what I should say is it's possible that Rocio is still living in her childhood home because we get this window view of a cityscape, kind of like what we saw when we went to go get that Scale-a-Cat skin. It would make sense if that's where she is. That's my theory, personal theory at this time. Still under the bed. Literally, or they just think that? Are they still haunted by his body having once been there? But I suppose, like, where are you gonna put a dead body? But it kind of sounds like if he's still, like, underneath her bed after all these years, there probably hasn't been much of an investigation, right? So perhaps, like in Goodbye Earl, Lacey's uncle was a missing person who wasn't really missed quite at all. Poor doggy. So, before we leave, I want to make an amendment to a thought that I had when I was first giving my interpretation of the scene, playing the clip of the audio from Beneath the Skin by Cecilia Condit. Originally, I was like, well, it's being recited by the corpse under the bed. But I'm starting to think it could be told from someone else's perspective now. Because if you think about it, there's the line that it was me and not her that he killed 2 years ago. So could that imply that that's actually being told from the perspective of Rocio or the dog? Probably more likely Lacey / Rocio. So it's like, uncle kills dog. Lacey kills uncle. So my original thought process was the uncle was just like, oh, I had a dream that this Lacey / the dog, I don't really know, killed me. But that's just bizarre. That didn't happen. But that doesn't make as much sense as Lacey / Rocio having those kind of thoughts. Because if you think about it, it seems like Rocio's being haunted. Rocio / Lacey, because again, we still don't quite have confirmation to that assumption yet. But it seems like she's being haunted by this thing that happened in her life, right? Real is surreal, definitely, for Rocio at this point, right? Reality is surreality. Is that a word? I don't know, but it is now if it isn't. But yeah, very compelling. Very intriguing and mysterious. Alright, last room. Room 2.
Staring at your eyes on the ceiling. You breathed into me for years. Almost. Not one day goes by in which I don't smell your skin. But I'm a silly little girl that believes in lies that I can have as them. So I'll let myself die again. It has always
So, that was different than what we saw in the video.
Holy shit! You did it!
I did! Thank you! Hi.
You look pale in your light. Just so you know. Hey, wait a second. What is that? Lacey
Sees love meter.
Whoa. I think there was actually the first game in your roster mate.
That was the first game?
Yeah, I mean the roster mate.
Rocio
I have
made.
nothing to do with quick little child and done with it. Ugh.
Oh, really? Oh, really, Grace? I still think you're hiding something. I still think she's hiding something. There's no way she isn't. I will admit, I don't trust her. I wouldn't say I fully dislike her, but I definitely think she is hiding some stuff and has demons of her own. Yeah. Let's play Lacey's love meter.
Then you comport yourself and take a look.
Alright, here we go.
Damn, this thing is really glitchy. Lacey's eyes kind of freak me out.
Oh, very, very bug-eye looking. Kind of looks like, dinosaur eggs. Alright, let's put in some names. I'm gonna put in my name and my partner's name first, just for the shits and giggles. We'll put their nickname in. Oh my god, apparently I can't type. Ugh. There we go. Oh my gosh, super match, go out on a date, gladly. Alright. Alright, let's put in some names from the actual games. We'll put in Lacey and Jay. They seem to have been really good. Really good friends. Girls always love each other. Alright, let's put, Lacey and Maisie. Same thing. Let's put Rocio there. Ah! Rocio. And Lacey. Baby, I'm in heaven. See, that's another thing that's making me think, like, is Rocio dead or not? Or is she just happy with where she is, having possibly connected herself in with Lacey? And I feel like at this point, it's possible that they're one and the same at this point. They've united it. They've like, they've done the fucking, what do you call it? I'll put a clip because I can't think of it.
Find a way to break this one now. Maybe there was a clue in the last case?
Oh, I remember now. Oh, boy. Okay, yeah, I remember what to do now. Here we go. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. What are you looking for? Are you lost? So this is Rocio. I might be a little lost, okay, Rocio? Ego despicio mendicium. I have been watching you. I've been, suspecting that. Look around. What are you looking for? Girl, you tell me. A vertebrae full of synapses. A succulent brain, moist in fluids and blood. Oh boy. I see it. Make me happy. I'll do my best. No one loves me like he does. Oh, I remember now. Input codes valid. Lacey and Uncle. Yep. Alright, I think we got it. Thank you, Rocio. Here we go. First of all, there's one last thing before we input that that I need to show that I found. Error. And then let's just put like Charlie with Grace. No one will ever love Grace like Grace does. So now we know how Rocio feels about Grace currently, right? Alright. I mean, from what we've seen, she does seem like she has a little bit of a ego. Alright, let's put in this horrific, awful, putrid pairing. Yeah. Look at that. Who's that supposed to be, though? Is that supposed to be Charlie? Is Charlie all fucked up now? So, yeah, that was basically the demo. I don't remember if there were other secrets that I just haven't found yet. I am very, very, very curious to see what happens next whenever the full game is released. Which I hope will be this year, but I totally understand if it, doesn't come out this year. It seems like there's a lot that's being put into this, in terms of, not just the debugging, but also the art itself. And plus there's other games that have to be implemented in this too. Like, we only saw from the video series in this demo, Wardrobe and Pet Shop. We still have to see Diner, the J Games. We still have yet to learn anything about Maisie. We haven't even heard Maisie's voice yet. I need to know more about Maisie. I hope whenever the next Lacey Games video is, will be heavily centered around her. I hope. Because I want to know. Tell us more about Maisie, our little star astrology girl. I really like how at the very end of Rabbit Hole, Lacey's being comforted by Maisie at the acceptance point of grief. It makes me very curious. Now that artwork obviously could have just been a part of the credits. That it's possible that wasn't actually part of the main canon. But I just think it's a very interesting little piece of symbolism. So yeah, that was the Lacey Games, and all that I could tell you about for now. I know that there are things that I missed, and that's why I would like for you to comment, and if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. I will be making more videos that cover art pieces, video art projects that are psychologically horror based. And when they aren't based on horror, they're based on just weirdness in general, because that's what I like. I love a good surreal project, okay? I love a good surrealism in my art. I love a good alternate dimension. So yeah, I guess that's all I have. I don't really know what else to say. That was wild though, wasn't it? That was really well done. Like I said, Ghosttundra is so damn talented. They are underrated in my opinion. I don't think their art gets talked about enough. Whatever they end up doing after Lacey Games is like the series has concluded, the full game has been released, I would love to see what they end up doing. But yeah, so okay, I'm gonna stop rambling now. I'm very hungry and I could use some dinner. So that being said, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!